Hey everybody, it's Kika, your lifestyle blogger, and I'm in my RV and I wanted to bring you a quick update on kind of what's been happening with the RV, with the tiny house, and with the food trailer. So as you guys know, if you've been following my YouTube channel, I kind of been down during the winter months. I haven't did a lot of videos, but I wanted to make sure that I brought to you kind of what the update is and kind of what's happening, because now that it's finally spring, we can get something started. So it is right now May 20th, and last month, unfortunately, we had snow. And so it delayed the process of the tiny house being put on the land. It also delayed the process of me uncovering the RV and getting things kind of going in that respect. And it delayed the process in us starting and renovating and updating the food trailer. So there's still all of that stuff left to do. The biggest project that I had is working on the tiny house being put on the land. Now, when I say tiny house, I just want to clarify the kind of house that I went with. I didn't necessarily have one built, a tiny house built, and my tiny house is larger than my RV. What I decided to do, and I don't know if you watched some previous videos that I had, it's probably some videos that I did in the early beginning. So it's about a year and a half ago. I went to a trailer site and I looked at park models. And I really like those because those particular park models that I was viewing were already furnished. They were about 400 or less square feet, one bedroom, and then they had a loft. What I decided to do is go with a one-level park model with 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. For me and my family, I felt that that would work out a lot better. And then I was thinking in the interim, if I'm thinking about living in this park model in the future when I retire, it'll be nice to have just a one-level park model that I could live in the spring, summer, fall. My goal is to just have this park model, or this tiny house, I should say, in the spring, summer, fall, and in the winter months in Minnesota, go south and travel and explore and live in the RV that I'm in right now. So that was my goal. That's still my goal, and that's still my plan, and I'm still working on that. But there were some things that I had to do in order to get all of this and make all of this a reality, and it has been really tough and a big journey. And if I would have known in the beginning that it would have been that hard, I probably would have went a different route. And but instead I decided, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy my own land. That came with problems in itself, which I think is being worked out now. I chose to purchase a land inside a community that had an association. And you guys that have been following me for a while, you already know my problems with association. The association that I had a problem with was one that I was renting in the early beginning. It was in a townhome community more close to the city, and their objection was totally against having RVs. And so they didn't understand that. So in the time that I wanted to purchase the boat, I knew that absolutely was out of the question and wouldn't work. So I moved from that community and moved out here to the country on 5 acres of land in a house of which I am renting for 3 years. I still have a year and a half to go. But it worked out a lot better. In the process of doing that, I decided I'm going to buy my own land up north, and I am going to put my tiny house on it. The tiny house that I decided to go with is a park model. It was a little bit of an older one because I really liked the layout of it. I liked the way it was insulated. I absolutely loved the price. And I was able to make payments on it during the winter months. And then by the time spring came, it was all paid off. However, even though I had bought the land previously, there were some things that I had to do in order to put this park model on the land. So as it sits right now, it is still sitting at the trailer place of which I bought it. And we're hoping, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed, that next month we can make it a reality. What needed to happen is I needed to have some permits. So I needed a well, a septic, and I needed electricity and wiring for that. And then not only get the permits from the county, but I also had to get a permit in addition to that from the association. But the biggest and foremost was the septic permit and getting that from the county. So that finally became a reality. Initially, when I sent my paperwork in, it was all wrong. Measurements were wrong. Everything was wrong. My son and I went up to the land and we decided to cut down some trees. You may have seen a video on that. When we GPS'd it, we figured out we were off a little bit, and I don't want to take any chances in putting a well and septic on someone else's property. So I hired a surveyor which this week will be going up there, surveying the land. Costs about $1,000, but at least that would save us a lot of money in the long run. So he's more than worth paying that price to, and giving me a full disclosure of what my property lines really are. And then after we get that, we're going to go up there. So it'll probably be next weekend. And then we'll cut down trees in the proper area and distinguish where the house is actually going to go on the land. So in the interim, I did end up getting a final approval for the building permit and the septic permit. I had a really nice gentleman that I was working with, and he designed the entire septic system, which was a lot of work. It was about 15 pages of just testing the soil, drilling holes, seeing where the drain field's gonna go, all that stuff that I've never heard of, that I can't even fathom, stuff that a builder would do. If you ever gotten a house built, a builder would do all of that for you. I had to do that myself. And so I hired this man and he did it. I paid him for a septic design, which is about $300. And then I mailed off for the septic permit, which is $200 with the county. They finally came back with the permit number, which helped me. And then they came back with the building permit number. Now, the building permit was a little bit tricky because not only was they wanting the measurements of the actual unit or the house, or tiny house, I should say, that's going to be put on the land, but they also wanted to know the additions that we were going to do. So in the tiny house that I have, it is, I needed more room. So I wanted a breakfast area. So I'm going to have my son bump out a wall, do a breakfast area. So my tiny house will then become a little bit permanent on my land. I won't be moving it at all. And then we're going to put a wraparound deck. So there was 3 sections to the building permit that had to be done. When it all came together, the tiny house will be right around 500 square feet. So it'll work out pretty nicely. The restrictions in the association that I bought in is the tiny house has to be at least 480 square feet, no less. So got all of that done, got the building and septic permit done. On the application with the association, I had to put those building and septic permit numbers on there, as well as a wiring permit number of the person that's going to be wiring all of my electricity and, you know, all of that information. So well permit number, all of that. So then finally got all those numbers in, and then I mailed that application off. Once I get the thumbs up from the association, which I'm hoping that it doesn't come back that I need to correct something, because then it'll be delayed even longer. And according to the application, it could take up to 30 days before the board of directors gets together and approves this. So I'm hoping I did everything right. I certainly took a lot of steps and a lot of time in putting all this together. It was about 3 months to get this all straightened out the right way. I want to show you what one of the big requirements was on actually looking at your unit. You have to have actual floor plan. So if you buy a used unit, it's going to be tricky in getting a floor plan. So you might have to put it together yourself, search the internet, do whatever you got to do to get the correct floor plan. And then I also wanted to tell you, going out and just buying land somewhere is not necessarily going to work for your tiny house, because some land you can't build on or put anything on. So you really need to look at the covenants, the bylaws, the ordinance, all of that stuff in the county of which you are putting your land. And then if you do have a association like I do, you need to really look at their covenants and bylaws to make sure you're meeting those requirements as well. I felt the need to build in an area which has an association, because as I get older, it's really nice to have that backing for you when you live in a certain environment. And then thinking that I'm not going to be there all the time, it's not my permanent residence, I wanted to make sure that I'm amongst good people. That was very, very important to me. So those were very important key factors in being able to pick the land where I picked it. So be very careful in the beginning when you're trying to pick land. Don't think that you can just go and buy any land and this is where you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can't. You have to get permits. You have to get approvals. You have to get all kind of things. Otherwise, the state can make you take it down. And you don't want to go through that hassle, or you could be fined. And it can cost you even more money if you're fined. So you really have to take the proper steps and doing all of it correctly. So I'm making this video because I want to share this information with you. It was a trial and tribulation, and it was exhausting, and it was absolutely terrible. I had a really hard time. I made less and less videos during the winter months because I was going through a lot of stress getting all of this up and going. But I want to be able to share this information with you because if you're thinking of going along the same lines that I did, it's very important for you to know the what ifs and what could happen. So anyway, I found the floor plan to my tiny house, and I'm going to turn this around and show you. And then I had to end up letting them know about the setbacks from the street, kind of the additions that I'm doing, the size of the rooms and those things. And so it says when it's all said and done, it'll be about 544 square feet. So we'll see. It's better to go big than small. I said the room that we were building is going to be a 10 by 10. It may be a little bit smaller than that. I don't know, but it's best to make sure that you go bigger because you don't want to give them a lesser number and then you make a bigger room. It's better to give them a bigger room and them approving that and then making it a little smaller. That would be okay. The application that I had to go through was something else. I don't want to show you all of it because it has my private address and stuff on it. But there was a lot of different things. I'm going to show you this this bottom part where they had to say, you know, kind of divide it up for all three areas. And then each thing that I was going to do costs money. So you have to pay that and you have to pay for your building permit. The second page was just like the drawing that I showed you. So just kind of scaled down. And then that was about it for that. So that was the permit to get me through the county. And then the county finally said yes, emailed me, mailed me, and gave me, yay, my permit. So I'm excited. I got it in this sheet here because it needs to hang on the building when it gets there. I haven't called the people that have my mobile home right now. I'm not going to call them yet because I am in the process of working out, getting the money to have the septic and the well put in. I think that needs to be put in first and foremost before the house even gets on there because there's a lot of digging and things that needs to be done. So what's going to happen next as far as the tiny house is my son and I, after the survey is done this week, we're going to go up there and we are going to cut down some trees and define the area of which the house is going to go. After that, we'll take pictures and everything. And then I need to contact the well and septic people, give them a payment so that they can get started putting the well and septic in. Then I'll go to the mobile home people. And I think it only takes a day or so to get that stuff in. It sounds like a lot of work, but it's really not that difficult because it is a mobile home that that's being put on the site. And so my well and septic is going to be designed just a little differently. Not all of the stuff traditionally that needs to be done when you're putting a house. So it won't be as bad as it sounds. Then after all of that is in, I will go to the mobile home people and tell them to go ahead, put the house on the land. And hopefully I'll be there to capture some video for that so that you can see that. And then after that, I will call in my electrician who will then come and do the wiring. So the way we're going to do the wiring, and he wants to wait to do that is until the house gets there, is because it's going to be just like an RV park where there's a 50 amp plug, a 30 amp plug, and a 20 amp plug. The 50 amp plug is for the mobile home. The 30 amp plug is for this RV. So if I want to drive the RV up north, park it in a nice spot next to the mobile home, I can plug this and this will be operational as well. And then he's going to do a 20 amp plug, which might be needed at some point. So he's going to do all three of those in a box, and I want it close to the house. We don't want to put it in prior because it could be in the way as they're moving the house in. So we'll wait till the house is there and then we'll put it right next to the house. I was going to do this entirely another way and have the house brought first and then the well and septic and everything be put in. However, and realizing all the work that they need to do and seeing those plans as far as digging and all of that stuff, I decided that that's probably not the best alternative. The best thing is having the well and septic people put their stuff in first, then the house, and then we can wire everything up. And then my son and I can get started on building the additional room and the wraparound porch. So I'm really excited about that. I have some very great ideas for the wraparound porch, which I don't want to go into detail right now. I'll save that for another video, but you'll be very excited to see our plans and what we have done. Now, in addition to all that, we have two more things that we are working on. The other thing was the mobile food trailer. And the other one is the fire pit my son is working on here, which we are going to utilize for Memorial Day. Now, this is just a practice one. It's being done in our rental property. However, he's going to replicate that. And when we get the mobile home on the land, we're going to have something like that up there too. And it'll be more permanent, which is absolutely nice for when we want to camp and things. So I am going to take you outside and kind of walk around and show you what my son has been working on. He is very handy. As you guys remember in earlier videos, he helped me put the lighting in and kind of redo all of that. I still have a couple more things left to do on the RV. Of course, I want to spruce up the paint and keep it nice and vibrant at all times, but I still have the ceiling inside that I need to do. And I have an idea for that. And then on top of the roof, I am going to put a liquid roof on there just to kind of reseal it. So that way I have no leaks absolutely at all. So I need to do that. And then another in addition to that, a little squirrel had ended up getting in here through the winter months. And I think I did a video on that. So we need to seal up where that squirrel got in so I can take better precautions the next season around. It's going to be a while before I actually do decide to retire. I'm looking at 10 years out. But getting all of these things in place is really helping me build that lifestyle that I told you guys about that I don't need a vacation from. And that is my focus and my ultimate goal. And that is what I'm working on. So I have 10 years to build up a nice cash flow, put money away and save it. I already have the RV, the tiny house, the boat, the things that I need. So I already have those. So there's no buying that and spending extra money on that. Just maintaining them and keeping them nice. And then in 10 years, I can retire from my day job and do the things that I absolutely love and enjoy. So at that time, I'll be 57, retiring early, but I am so looking forward to that. So I'm going to take you outside now. We're going to go this way. And it's a beautiful day out, actually. So there's a couple things I need to do. With the RV, I need to change this out. I had hung that up Thanksgiving time back in November. So I want to change that, but I do like it. The food trailer over here, and you guys remember this. This is where my smart car goes on when we're pulling it. But the food trailer over here, my son covered in plastic. I'll bring it a little closer so you can see. And then all the stuff that was on it is laying over here on the ground. But what we're going to do is we're going to put windows on there, and we're going to put aluminum siding, and then we'll stick the decals for the logo all over it and get that going. And I've already been looking at the things that needs to be in on the inside, and I have a fabulous way to make baked potatoes in 15 minutes. So we're going to go with that, and that's going to be helpful. So after the food trailer is done, we'll have the health department come out and give us a thumbs up, and then we'll be ready for operation. We haven't uncovered the boat yet. That is still covered up, so we still have yet to do that. Probably not going to do that right now because we have so many other things going on. So it's still covered, as you can see. But we're not going to worry about it. So I'm walking you over to where my son is working on this lovely fire pit. He is very talented. And when he's all done helping me, if you guys need to use his talents, inbox me, let me know. He would be happy to help you or do it for you. It'll cost you, but it'll be worth it. I'm a very picky person, and I've been giving him a headache through this whole process. So he's making sure that he does it right. So it's a good practice with me. So anyway, here is the fire pit. So he went and got some stone and kind of stoned out this entire area here. And then that's the actual fire pit hole. I'm going to walk over here. That's the actual fire pit hole where the fire will go in. He has some more things he's going to add to that. It rained the other day, so it got kind of wet and muddy. But I am going to put a kettle over it. And then he's going to make seating too out of the tree logs. So that's going to look nice all around the fire pit. So we're going to have this hopefully up and going for Memorial Day. The family will come out, and it's just going to be nice. See it back there? It's going to be so nice. So anyway, we moved our cars over here just to make a path so we can kind of get back and forth. The garage is full with cars. it's a nice property to rent, but I know when you rent, it doesn't last forever, so I wanted to get something of my own. And next year, my kids and I decided that we're going to do a fourplex with land, and that'll be nice because I'll be close to my grandkids too. So that's a work in progress. My wheels are always spinning, and I always have these ideas for all of these different things that I want us to do. But I'm so glad that I had the opportunity to make this video, because it's been a while, and I haven't been able to communicate with you guys and let you know what was happening. My videos kind of died out. They were a little slow in the process, so I wanted to make sure, indeed, that I talked to you guys about what was happening. So thank you so much for watching. I know this is a pretty long video for me. Not used to doing very long videos, but thank you so much for watching. I will have more video footage of the tiny house, the food trailer, and the projects that I'm doing to the RV coming up. So if you have friends that are interested in this type of lifestyle, have them subscribe to my channel. This is a journey that we are all going on together. I'm going to explain to you my trials and tribulations. I have nothing to hide. If you have questions for me, feel free to leave your comments in the box below. And thanks for watching. More video footage coming up.